I hope not. Maybe that's the murderer.
Outside of no, this is not.
But that's the thing. The snake ate the trophy, lunged at the guy's head.
Okay, thank you. I kind of fell asleep during the last part, so maybe we should take
Um, we found out the guy was in the elevator with him,
what the?
whoever the culprit is.
Okay.
Footprints are leading into the gift shop, which is closed down with a fence right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that one guy with all the furniture thinks it's us.
The Bourguignon thinks that we did it,
Yes.
but our homicide victim is also Bourguignon.
Yes. What time? Oh, yeah, and we found out that his watch was off. Basically, it was not to departure time. That's why he missed the movie, and that means he saw Mr. Hicks at 3 o'clock instead of 6. So there's a 3-hour, 15-minute window where Mr. Hicks could have been murdered. Everything happened in this lounge. Is that what you really believe, Mr. LeBlanc? What? Do you have another idea? I simply feel there is something out of place in the scenario you presented.
Maybe.
Is there something that can tie this crime to a location other than this lounge? Let's see. I mean, it could be this, maybe, because it's not on him.
But what about the cat that came from the gift shop?
At the in-flight shop. Good eye.
Take that!
Or good memory. The murder weapon, this little piggy bank, is sold at the in-flight shop. It is sold there and only there, and is not displayed here in this lounge. How then did it find its way here? Don't you find that a tiny bit suspicious? Such a trivial point. It only means you prepared it, taking it from the shop first before coming here. It doesn't prove you were innocent at all. Yeah. There's no camera, but you are currently mimicking his fingers right now. It is a bit, It is a bit silly. Also, can I win with, is there no way to win with this man? That feels like the entire court system. Because it's always like, well, it could have happened this way. Oh, well then, we'll go with that. If I may. What is it? You see, well, it's just as Mr. Edgeworth says. Oh, and why do you know this so well? Well, it's just that piggy bank was there in the shop. I saw it with my own eyes. And when was this? It was maybe around 5:40 a.m. Isn't that just before we hit that patch of turbulence? That's right. You were in the shop just before the turbulence. Yes, I was. Come to think of it. Miss Tenera, when I found the body, I believe you came out of that door. Yes, I did. And what is beyond that door? That's the flight attendant's room. Then, you were on the first floor. Yes. I had to do something at the shop and in the flight attendant's room. So I went to the shop first, and then to the flight attendant's room. Are you saying you passed by me at some point? Yes, you seem really into the issue of Sky magazine you were reading at the time. I don't suppose you noticed me walking by. I vaguely recall someone walking by, but I didn't take notice of who it was. Anyway, the piggy bank was definitely there at the shop when I went there. Why did you go to the shop in the first place? I went there for a work-related matter. Work, you say? Yes, the upkeep of the shop is also one of my responsibilities. Why did you not say anything about that until now is what I want to know. In any case, I believe it's clear that the shop needs to be investigated as well. Shall we head over there, then? What is it now? What is with her smile?
I don't know, but she's about to pop out of her uniform. Her eyes look weird.
Ah,
Is she a real person?
aren't you forgetting something, Miss Rhoda? Don't you need the captain's permission to check the shop? No, I haven't forgotten, but I have already asked for permission to search the entire plane, so I think we're all right. That's weird. What is? Well, I just talked to the captain, see, and he said that he didn't give you permission to do anything like that at all. What is the meaning of this, Miss Tenero? It means she's lying. Go on, admit that you are. Admit You said you had permission to search all over, but you don't, and yet here you are. You, flight attendant, what are you trying to do? Pull the sheep over us? The captain's calling for you, Miss Rhoda. Oh, but don't worry. I already got permission to search the shop from the captain. See, unlike you, I do things the right way. Miss Tenero, why would you...
Mealy?
Meal, I think. You chamomile, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do such a thing? Please excuse me. She's hiding something. I don't know what. I don't know that necessarily means she's an actual culprit, but she's hiding
Her
something.
shirt doesn't look like she's hiding much.
No, I'm talking about Tenero. Silly. Please go back to your seat, Mr. Lavant. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth. If you would follow me, I will be your guide from now on. There's something about Miss Tenero that has piqued my curiosity, but right now investigating the in-flight shop is my top priority. So this is the in-flight shop. It's quite a mess in here. You think? Guess I'll have to clean things up then. Hee hee. Hold on! You can't clean up a potential crime scene. Oh, thank goodness. I hate cleaning so much. I mustn't rush things here. I must remain cool, calm, and collected. Because this piggy bank was left at the crime scene. And there is a very good chance that the killer had paid this place a visit. Inside this display case is a row of lifesavers and life vests for sale. We sell a lot of those when there's some kind of accident or something. But some people buy them even when nothing's going on.
You're gonna sell them if their plane's going down?
So love it when there's some kind of accident or something.
She seems not be a real flight attendant. Her uniform is weird. Like, why would you sell safety equipment? Like, something's off with her.
I mean, definitely with the look on her face all the time.
And she was like all really wobbly before.
Yeah, I don't know. Stuffed toys, just like the one Miss Meal is holding, are on display here. Explains why they're displayed so haphazardly. How about it, Mr. Edgeworth? You know you want one too. They're great for when you're stressed. Why do I envision stuffed animal abuse when she says that? The glass from this display case's door is shattered all over the floor. And it looks like there's nothing on display inside either. Wait, actually, I think there is something. What's this? A mini captain's hat? There is a wide selection of souvenirs for sale in these display cases. You know what I'd suggest? Sorry, but I have no intention of buying souvenirs on this trip. Okay then, how about you buy something for me then, as a present? I can't think of a single reason why I'd want to buy you anything. But I've had my eye on that pendant for such a long time. Try paying some attention to me when I ask you something, and then we'll talk.
See, it's also weird because then I asked if you buy any other girl a drink, he said no on the spot. And she declined a gift. She asked for a gift.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's funny, she seems to not care, but then again, she apparently did things the right way, so I don't know. What are these? Oh, those are our company's completely original line of suitcases. They're practically flying out the door, that's how popular they are. You should buy one and see how you like it. You won't regret it. Perhaps that's how things work on this flight, but in the real world, you try, then buy. No way, but either way, it doesn't really matter. True, either way, why would anyone buy a suitcase after they boarded the plane? Anyway, see that? Just look at all the Captain Hugo heads painted on there. Cute company mascot, isn't he? They're painted on with a lot of care. Doesn't he look like he's about to jump out at you? It is certainly making something jump inside my stomach. Huh? Oh, I guess there's no fooling your refined tastes. You look like you really wanted to get one. And I thought I was going to finally make my first sale, but you saw right through it. Glad that's done, though. Never make me try to give you a sales pitch ever again, okay? But I never showed any interest in it to begin with. Tee-hee. It really is pretty horrible, isn't it? You want to know something? This suitcase was designed by Miss Rhoda. Miss Tenero designed this. Yeah, it was a company-wide contest. Well, it does have a very sharp design sense. Haha, sharp? Like stinky sharp cheddar, baby. I really have no idea why the bigwigs decided to go with it. It's so bleh. Miss Tenera designed this, did she? It's definitely not what I would have expected. Ah! You okay? I'm fine. Please watch yourself, Miss Meal. Letting a suitcase really roll around has got to be a safety violation. Here, I'll put it back. I wonder if this broke because the suitcase rammed into it, maybe? That might be stretching things, because, I mean, it is kind of the right size. I don't know much about this shop. You can still ask me about whatever. So what do you think about what has happened regarding this case? Oh, I don't know. I guess I think you're the killer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I can assure you that I'm here in the shop to prove just the opposite. What the heck? She's falling asleep again. Oh, she was drooling, though. Yeah, but it was me that got you the permission to look around, you know. So don't forget that, okay? How am I supposed to thank you properly if you insist on falling asleep? Well, you know what really show your thanks? You see that item for sale over there? Sorry, but you're going to have to make do with my words of appreciation. Let's see if I can show her some stuff. Miss Rhoda said that this piggy bank was in this shop, right? Don't you find her a tiny bit suspicious? I don't think I can say either way yet. There's not enough evidence to convince me that she was lying about anything back there. Are you sure about that? Let me go with my hunch. It might not be anything. Although... weapons... Nope. Why the glasses?
Why don't you say that that's what caused the glasses to break? Is that what?
No, I said it caused the glass to break. Do you think there's something to that?
No, I don't. I misunderstood what you said.
I can't believe, so there's something I'm missing. Oops.
Is it the one suitcase has stuff that never knew?
You know, I didn't notice that. Let's see if there's anything she can tell me about anything. Just footprints, maybe? The only thing I haven't shown her is this. Oh, like I said earlier, I was the one answering people's calls while we were refueling in Zhangfa, and Mr. Hicks was in his seat at that time. What was that time again? He called at around 5 a.m. You were at your seat around then too, you know. I do recall people calling for service at around that time. Even if this turns out to be a waste of time, I must stand firm. I just know that there is a vital clue or two awaiting me here in this shop. Huh. Let's go on top of that thing? Yes!
What did you put together? I'm sorry.
The hat and the murder weapon. Notice how the thing on the murder weapon, or this thing, Captain Hugo,
Mm-hmm.
is also the stuffed animal with the hat on.
Oh, so
The hat probably used to be on the piggy bank's head. Let's give it a go and see. I believe this piggy bank was forcibly removed from this display case. Does this mean that the killer broke the glass to get at it? Really? Don't tell me you don't know what things go where in the shop. Well, I don't. Miss Rhoda's in charge of this place. So come on, how should I know anything? I sense that further inspection of this display case is needed. I wonder if they do have... Ah! Is this the same man as the one portrayed by the statues around the elevator? Yeah, that's a paperweight of the founder of GoU Airlines, Mr. Hugo Hughes. On the bottom shelf, we have the cute one, and the middle shelf is the realistic one. And on the top shelf, that's the floral version. Floral? You sure about that? Let me guess, you just said the first thing that came to your mind, right? Looks like I hit the bullseye. The glass on this door is broken. Perhaps it was the killer who broke it in order to take the piggy bank. But it's a bit odd that the inside of this case is so devoid of glass shards. Plus, the glass... What? Glass broke rather cleanly. What is it? I touched the glass and it cut my finger. It hurts, Mr. Edgeworth. It hurts. Please tell me you can deal with such a minor cut on your own. GoU Airlines-related books line this shelf. The history of GoU Airlines, the future of GoU Airlines, the 7 wonders of GoU, Fight On, GoU Airlines, working name, Hugo Airlines, You. The titles make it very clear that they won't be making the top sellers list anytime soon. For security, there's a lock on this display case. Miss Meal, if I may ask you about this lock. The one who's in charge of the shop is Miss Rhoda, so she's got the keys to all the display cases. I see. Oh, I bet you want to buy something. Do you want me to go get the key from her? No, that's alright. So is there a contradiction here? Because it says deduce. Nope. I mean, my guess is that the reason this is locked but this is unlocked because the person used this to break this open. Well, let me see if these two go together. If they don't, then we have plenty of help. No. Okay.
like the empty spot is where the bank is.
That could be it. Also, I think the thing being dragged was the suitcase as well. Or it's just something being dragged.
Eureka!
There's definitely something very unusual about this. About what? If the killer had broken the glass to get at the Captain Hugo bank, there should be some shards of glass inside the case itself. Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess it'd be like that. However, there's not a single piece of glass inside the display case. Nope, no there isn't. Which means that the glass was broken from the inside out. The piggy bank must have fallen over from the turbulence and right through the glass. Yeah, that's for sure. There's so much glass all over the floor. I'm willing to bet that this hat was knocked off its head at that time, too. Eh? That's nice. It leads me to believe that the killer took the Captain Hugo bank from here after the turbulence. Take your power naps on your own time, Miss Neal, and listen when I'm talking. Wow. But the murder occurred... Her new book? Wow. But the murder occurred before the turbulence, which rules this piggy bank out as the murder weapon. Seeming the bank's not the real murder weapon, it's a fake? Yes, at this point, that is a very real possibility. But then, what if, when the killer went to take Captain Hugo, they broke the glass by accident? Display case is locked, so that's highly unlikely. Yeah, but there's one person who could have. Oh, and who would that be? Miss Rhoda, of course. I mean, she's the one in charge of this place, and she has the keys to everything. Miss Rhoda Tenero, huh? Beautiful flowers and a beautiful arrangement. I feel cleansed just by looking at them. Well, you're kind of stepping on a few of them, you know, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, excuse me. So... So I guess we gotta logic this.
So then the juice, yeah, the suitcase.
So we have the suitcase, the turbulence, the broken glasses.
The turbulence in the suitcase.
Either that, or the turbulence has something to do with broken glasses. Want to try suitcase first? Yes, there's definitely something wrong here. What's with the sudden yelling? Tell me, Miss Meal, don't you think there's something strange about these suitcases? And this is the thing you pointed out. They totally ooze strange, like the color and such. That's not what I'm talking about. Now pay attention. Ah, you're scaring me, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry. These suitcases are lined up a bit too prim and proper. Yeah, they look a bit uptight, don't they? But I guess they take after their creator, hee. Again, that's not what I meant, Miss Meal. Didn't you find it unusual that these cases are the only things undisturbed by the turbulence? Never mind, I'd sooner find an answer by inspecting these suitcases myself. Upon closer inspection, they really are quite hideous. Hee. I wonder how Miss Rhoda would have reacted if she'd heard what you just said. What's wrong? She makes a good point. It would be wise of me to watch what I say out loud. But to this, I spotted something that's not quite right. What is so unusual about this suitcase? This, right here. There's grape juice on it.
Take that!
There's something very peculiar about these wheels. As in, there are no stoppers in place on these. Without stoppers, one would think that the turbulence would have sent it flying. And so it is very likely that this suitcase was placed here after we hit the turbulence. Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? What's this? The wheel is completely covered in something. This color and the scent. It appears the substance in question is grape juice. But why would there be juice on the wheel of a suitcase? I think we may be able to. Unless... A $1,200 price tag. Not exactly priced by someone with a conscience, I'd say. This was apparently designed by Miss Tenera herself. The design has a certain je ne sais quoi about it. Yes, perhaps that is the best way to put it. It would appear to be unlocked. Let's take a look at what's inside. A piece of cloth. And it's soaked with blood. Ah! It's blood!
Doesn't that match the Virginian's outfit?
Ooh, I wonder. It appears that this suitcase is very strongly tied to our murder after all. So explain this to me. What does this suitcase have to do with the murder? I believe it's pretty safe to say that the killer used this suitcase in some manner, such as to move something, perhaps. And what, aren't you just talking about the cloth, then? That alone is too small. A larger item would be needed to move what I'm thinking of. The thing I think the killer used this suitcase to transport is...
Seated.
the deceased?
Take that!
Something that would fit inside a suitcase that is also covered in blood. Sounds like a dead body, doesn't it? But, in light of this, I'd say that Mr. Hicks was moved into the elevator from someplace else, which means that the murder was committed in an entirely different location. So you're saying that after moving the body into the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase in here and just left it? Exactly. What is it? Nothing, just that I was thinking about what Miss Rhoda said about coming here for something. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I wanted to give you a bit more time, but I'm afraid I wasn't able to convince the captain. I'm very sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but the captain feels that he has allowed you ample time. He says that he'd appreciate it if you could wrap it up here and return to your seat. I understand his sentiments, however, I'm not allowed to complete my investigation. The crime scene may become contaminated by the time we land. If I must stop, then I insist I be allowed to oversee the preservation of the two sites. Under your supervision, of course. If that's your only condition, then I believe we can accommodate your wishes. I'm here to assist you in any way that I can, Mr. Edgeworth. Sounds like fun. We can camp out and watch over everything together. I found proof the real crime scene was not in the lounge, and I have enough evidence to prove myself to be innocent of any wrongdoing. And yet, regarding what Miss Meal reminded me about Miss Teniero, I can't allow my investigation to end here. The truth must come to light. Yeah, let's save that progress. Oh, we're at the airport now. I know that once we had landed, I'm supposed to let the local police take over, and thanks to Miss Teniero and Miss Meal, I was able to reserve the crime scene. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk with Miss Teniero in private, so I'm left wondering just what was she up to? Why did she do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation. I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth.
Whippity whip.
It is Whippity Whip. Francisca? I thought you were still in Germany. I go where I am needed, and wherever there are criminals to be caught. Her name is Francisca von Karma, the daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She, like myself, is a prosecutor. Are you heading up this case? It would be a bit of a relief if you are. Don't you try to flatter me, Miles Edgeworth. I'm placing you under arrest. What? It's quite frustrating, actually. I had hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue, but I'll have to take what I can get. I never thought I'd see the day when a disciple of the House of Von Karma would become a criminal. Have you no shame? Wait, it has been a big misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim. A misunderstanding? I heard all about the murder over the police radio from the captain myself. You waited for the victim on the first floor and then beat him to death. Francisca, do you honestly believe that I killed a man? I suppose I should reserve judgment until after I have investigated this for myself. I can put your arrest on hold until then. That's as it should be. Ha! I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you of all people. To be perfect in every way, the fulfillment of that creed alone is all I strive for. Well, I have my own creed which I must fulfill, so why don't we solve this together? I have to get going. The crime scene awaits. Don't you dare leave town. Trust me, I had no intention to. Detective Gumshoe! Yes, sir. Well, he's gotta help. Too slow.
Oh, you got home.
Yeah. Ow. Listen up. I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up, understand? Mr. Edgeworth, I'm supposed to guard him. A simple yes or no, detective. Ah, yes, sir. Understood, sir. Just leave it to me. Miles Edgeworth, if you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? Now then, if you'll excuse me. Good to see you again, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Boy, am I glad to see you're okay. Thank you, detective. Believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you through this. I have to admit, I'm a bit curious as to what Francisca is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well, in that case, I have a few questions for you. So, how is the initial investigation going? We just shipped the body off to the coroner's office, and we're taking statements now, sir. That sounds like Francisca. She was always good at quick responses to a case. I'd say she was, a little too quick, sir. Oh, how so? I rushed on over as soon as I got the word of the affair, sir. Somehow, when I got here, Miss Von Karma was already here barking out orders at everyone. It was kind of creepy, as though she knew there had been a murder or something, and come in advance to await your flight's arrival. That is sort of odd. She did show up rather quickly and out of the blue. Plus, I still don't know why she's here in America. There must be some backstory to all this. Miss Von Karma just kind of popped up at the prosecutor's office about a week ago, sir. Something about chasing down leads related to a certain incident. No details? It's kind of top secret, so she can't talk about it, even with me, sir. Knowing her, the only type of talking she likes to do is with her whip. Plus, I doubt the top secret part was what stopped her from talking to you, detective. Though I wonder if her case has anything to do with mine. Anyway, that's about all the info I have, sir. We should find out more as we investigate. Yes, it is high time to resume my investigation, starting with talking to the people involved in this case afresh. This man was in first class with me. He was quite shaken up by the whole affair. I'd be pretty scared too if I got caught up in a murder investigation, sir. I did it. I made it the whole flight. I'm not scared of turbulence anymore. This life vest is proof I made it alive. It's now my prized possession. Why would you just take that from the plane? It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. It's got nothing to do with the murder, at least. This child seems to be happily enjoying the sight of so many planes. I'm all excited to see this many planes, too. Just look at the size of these things. Do you like planes too, mister? The balance between the main wings and the tail wings is really something, huh? Ha! It seems the child derives his pleasure from a different aspect. Oh, but I've got a thing for the shape of the wings, too. Here, mister, you can stand next to me. So about that plane's wing. Thank you, detective, for leaving me out of this conversation. Looking from behind, I think I've seen this man somewhere before. He looks like the guy from the third case of the first game. Mr. Edgeworth, we gotta get him some water. Found it, lol. Oh, I feel a wave of creative powers coming on. It's over 9,000 lols. For my next elite movie, it's gonna be the Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo versus the World Samurai Champion of Earth. It's gonna rock swords, so many box swords. Phew! Good thing it was a false alarm, right, Mr. Edgeworth? The Steel Samurai is finally getting a movie. Completely ignoring me as usual. Lunchland. Not bad, I guess it's gotten big enough to warrant its own brand shops. Ew, I've always wanted to give their steak lunch a try. What should I go with? I recommend our airport special, World Flags Lunch Boxes, only available for a limited time. We have a variety of lunch boxes made up to look like different countries' flags. If you really want one that badly, detective, why don't you go ahead and buy one? Is that okay, sir? Thanks, alright, then I'm really gonna get one. Here I go. Excuse me, miss, I'll take a Star-Spangled Banner lunchbox, please. I hope he's aware that's the most expensive one on the menu. So you must be the captain. Why, yes I am. Who might you be? I am the prodigy prosecutor, Francisca Von Karma, and I have a few questions for you. Ah, don't you dare, Captain, getting friendly with another woman? I'll never forgive you if you do. What are you talking about? I only have eyes for you, my dear Cammy. I wouldn't bet money on our dear Captain to be much of a reputable person. Sure you don't want to ask the Captain some questions, sir? He was in the cockpit the entire time. I highly doubt he would know anything of use. Anyway, I like to leave that type of witness to Francisca and her whip. Ah! Seriously. Now see here. Ah! Sorry, I'm sorry! How long do you intend to hold me? It is impossible for me to be the criminal, I told you. Mr. LeBlanc. Oh, it is you. Tell this...
His hat is the same as the cloth. I
Yeah.
wonder if he has a matching scarf with it, you know what I mean?
I'm quite curious, too. Tell this man to stop stopping me from going. Time is money. I don't have even 1 second of wasteful time to spend. Looks like we can't go behind here, sir. Plus, the body has been sent off to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. Did you finish taking his statement yet? Yep, all done, sir. I do not concern if you're not done examining the cargo hold. I want my cargo back. If you make a single scratch on my art, you will pay. Art? What sort of art? Mr. LeBlanc is an art dealer, so he's got a bunch of artwork down in the cargo hold, sir. There's practically a mountain of them, large and small. From folk costumes to stone statues, I sell all kinds of arts. Folk costumes? Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat kind of looks like that other piece of cloth. Mr. LeBlanc, can you please take a look at this for me? As I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose? Yes, of course. This fabric is so famous, orders come from over the seas for more. Then this is the cargo you were talking about earlier? No, my cargo this time is much many gigantic. You, detective, when can I have my cargo moved? You can get your cargo back when we're done investigating, pal. The stubbornness of you police, it is no good. And it is no good that attendant refuses to exit the attendance room, too. That attendant? I wonder if he's talking about Miss Tenero. What did you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc? She was taken into the attendance room for her interview. And then they still have not come out. They make no sign of coming out either. I was finished with my own interview much earlier, quicker than her. Why is Miss Tenero's interview the only one that's taking up so much time? Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine the plane, weren't you? Yes, I was able to obtain the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Tenero. I wonder if you might grant me permission to enter the flight attendant's room? Before I do, you still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances. I understand. You may have tricked those attendants with your sophisticated talking, but you can't pull the wool over my eyes, Miles Edgeworth. Let's not complicate things to go with the most obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here in the very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant until his body was found, the only person in this lounge the entire time was you, Miles Edgeworth. This unmistakably makes you the likeliest suspect. The likeliest suspect, Francisca? Do you have a problem with that? No, but it's not like you to use such vague wording. You're usually a bit more absolute. I'm simply trying to watch out for you.
Friends would foolishly think that I use frivolous words.
Yes.
Something like that?
Something like that. Thank you, but your leniency is unnecessary, for I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I want to continue my investigation, I'll have to break her line of logic fast.
Hold it!
Wait, I don't think it was the scene. So tell me, Francisca, do you know all there is to know about the crime scene? I know all that I need to know in order to arrest you. And nothing more? Are you saying there is more I need to know? Ah! Why did you whip me, sir? Sorry, Scruffy. My hand must have slipped. It would appear that Francisca doesn't have all the facts of this case yet.
Hold it!
What do you mean by seen? Please stop pretending like you don't know. It's insulting. Obviously, I'm talking about how Mr. Hicks was seen calling for an attendant at 5 a.m. And then, from the time after that call until the body was found...
Hold it!
Well, it's true that I was in the lounge the whole time. The fact alone does not make me a criminal. Ha! We'll see about that at the conclusion of this investigation. However, there is one thing that even you must admit at this time.
Hold it!
Under the circumstances, I suppose I can agree that I am the most likely suspect. But I believe in you, sir. I don't think you did it. Miss Von Karma's gotta believe that too, right? I mean, you two are like siblings. Ow! Quiet, Scruffy. Even if we were related by blood, that's no guarantee that he's not a criminal.
True. She's hitting her dad.
Yeah. Francisca, I demand to see some proof that you are not the guilty party. Likely a suspect, huh? What a roundabout euphemism. It would appear that she doesn't yet know about the new evidence that we acquired and where we acquired it. I'll take care of the gaps in her logic one hole at a time. Okay, so I'm thinking... It's gotta be something. Used to transport the body.
After that ordering it,
Possibly.
you have to show her the grape juice print or something.
Possibly.
Objection!
Nope.
Come on, you can wear a bucket on the same thing.
Well, we did find this, and
Objection!
it shows there was a body in there. Well, let me save, but it's weird. Maybe it's what we're contradicting? I mean, I would think it was that, but... Oh, the scene of the crime was here. That might be the thing we're supposed to...
Objection!
Yeah. It would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all. And what does that mean? I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. A piece that proves that the body was moved from a different location. The killer used this suitcase to move the victim's body, meaning that the real scene of the crime is not this lounge at all. Now who's the one rashly jumping to conclusions? Excuse me? All you did was find this piece of cloth inside the suitcase. That doesn't prove that the body was moved. It could be that the killer simply chose that suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth. I expected you would come to that conclusion. It would seem I can't escape that easily. You should know better than that. Von Karma is perfect in every way. Ah, but did you know that the killer definitely wheeled the suitcase around at some point? As if there is proof of that. Now, here we go.
Take that!
Spilled grape juice in front of the elevator? Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Where's the evidence that proved the killer dragged the suitcase through here?
Take that!
This mark here, wouldn't you say it looks suspiciously like tracks from two wheels? I suppose. Further, there was also grape juice residue on the wheels of the suitcase. That means that the suitcase containing the victim's body definitely passed through here. I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else. I'm glad you've come to your senses. Not so fast. That still doesn't put you in the clear, not by a long shot. You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane hit that turbulence. And then you waited for the victim in the lounge where you beat him to death. Then while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit that patch of turbulence and outflew the body from within the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from, and pretended to be the discoverer of the body. Not a bad bit of logic for something you thought of on the fly. Just what are you insinuating? That I will show you exactly how flawed your logic is. No matter how strong of a face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. I'll expose the flaws of your logic in one fell swoop. Take a bang for the plane, hit that turbulence. Thing is, no, it's not possible turbulence. Yeah. The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account in your testimony is to be commended. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared. Evidence and logic. Essential tools that those who would stand in a courtroom must learn to master. What if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix? A fake? This Captain Hugo piggy bank is such a fake. It is not the real murder weapon.
What is?
What? The timing of when the bank was taken from the shop is important, and it was taken after the turbulence had occurred. But then what about the blood on the bank? What do you make of that? I assume it was added after the murder when the killer fabricated this weapon. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did 3 things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase to the shop and left it there. Then the killer proceeded to pick the bank up from off the floor. He took it to fabricate a fake murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. Finally, the victim's wallet was planted on my personage, in my pocket to be precise. Everything was done so that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Hackby Hicks. You there? Yes, ma'am. Other than this piggy bank, was anything else resembling a murder weapon found? We didn't find anything in this lounge or in the shop that could be used this one, ma'am. Most of the items that could have been used were broken during the turbulence, and the remaining items all tested negative for any trace of blood. I see. Well, Miles Edgeworth, it appears your stall tactic. It's possible that it's just hidden somewhere, sir. So... Yeet! If the criminal had wanted to hide the weapon in a safer place, I think the weapon would have been hidden in the same place as the bloody cloth. Exactly what I was thinking. Because the cloth was hidden inside the suitcase. What?
You have to remember the elevator goes down to the cargo hold, and Mr. Virginia really wants to go to that cargo hold.
That's right. Signals to me that the killer had not prepared a more secure place to hide the evidence, which means that the real murder weapon is either still on the murderer's personage, or is still at the real crime scene. There is one more possibility. That would be that the piggy bank is in fact the real weapon. But didn't we just... Let me finish. The killer took the bank out from the display case before the turbulence by opening the lock on the display case door. And it was at that time that the glass pane in the door was broken. I say that's a perfectly reasonable line of reasoning, don't you? Let's see. So that means that the killer had the key to the display case. Francisca, the person you're talking about. Not so fast. I'm not finished. The person I'm talking about also committed another sin. She tricked the captain. Oh, she's saying she. Granted you permission to conduct your investigation. Yes, it is the sin of lying. Speaking of which, I recall that you also wish to speak with her. Yes. Very well, permission granted, but only if I can sit in on your investigation. Do we understand each other? I have no intention of interrogating her, but you are welcome to accompany me if you so wish. Miss Tenero is in the flight attendant's room. Let's move. So you're the one that poked around inside this plane without the captain's permission. Deviating from the flight attendant's manual is very unbecoming, you know. What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that? Miss Tenero, Ah, Mr. Edgeworth, you're here too. Can you please help us and shed some light on why you did what you did? Alright. Why did you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that? Because I didn't think I would be able to get his permission. What do you mean? The captain, he only has ears for Cammy. I spoke with the captain a little earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Neal. Yes, and on top of that, I had mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. I wanted to make amends. In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges. Really? You were able to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness. Miss De Niro, is it? There's one more thing I'd like to ask you. You were in the in-flight shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please answer honestly. Yes, I was. And why were you there? Well, Why the sudden hesitation? Francisca seems to have struck a nerve. I don't get why she's doing that, because I don't think she's the killer, but I don't get what she's hiding.
Well, she might be stealing treasure. See the box that has, like, treasure in it?
All I did was go check up on the shop like I always do. You're saying it was for work, then? Yes, I'm in charge of the shop, so I have to keep an eye on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise. After your visit to the shop, you paid a visit to this room, correct? Yes, I came back to freshen up and adjust my makeup. I'm sorry, but there isn't much else to tell. Miss De Niro claims to have no reason other than duty to go to the shop. But isn't that all there is to it? Maybe I should ask her about that thing. What is all this junk inside these boxes? There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. That's our lost and found, Mr. Edgeworth. Gold crowns and swords and necklaces. It's like a treasure trove in here, sir. The fact that these were left on the plane implies they were carried onto it to begin with. Something tells me it's time for GoU to send its metal detectors out for repairs. So now I gotta ask her about that thing, whatever it is. Maybe this? If you could please take a look at this for me, Miss De Niro. Oh, that suitcase. Yes, about this suitcase. You were the one who designed it, correct? And I think I figured something else out about it. This suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it? There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there? Won't you please tell me more about the suitcase? Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcases I had designed were selling. I know that as a service professional I'm not supposed to care, but I really wanted to know. I was glad to see that it was the last one there. The last one there? So there was one suitcase and somebody brought it back later. So you're saying, Miss De Niro, the suitcase in question was the last one? Yes, they're just so popular they're practically flying off the shelves. That's not exactly the impression I got. The one in the shop is most definitely the last one. Well, we're currently looking... Whoops. We're currently looking at the suitcase. Guess we sold them all. I didn't say anything about buying it. Then say you'll buy it. I'm sorry I can't. But why? I think it'd go great with your complexion, Mr. Edgeworth. It really suits you. I guarantee it personally as a service professional. Well, that is... How should I put this? It's hideous. What? Maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on, my issue with the suitcases isn't the design, it's the number of them remaining. Remaining? There were 2 suitcases in the in-flight shop when I investigated it. 2? But that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1. Looks like our story has generated quite the contradiction. When I left the shop, I'm positive there was only 1 suitcase left. Something is amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Miss De Niro, what is one of those suitcases doing here? That's... I thought you said there was only 1 left. That one is, it's mine. I've used it for a very long time now. She's used it for a long time? I think not, yeah. Miss De Niro, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't lie to me. Excuse me? I don't believe for even 1 second that you've used this for a very long time. Yeah, I can see why. Yeah.
Take that!
Tell me, Miss De Niro, is it also your habit to keep the price tag pristine on your suitcase? Ah. What is the meaning of this? Why would you lie about a suitcase? Despite having faith in her design sense, sales numbers made her cry bitter tears. The truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. Miss Tenero, I think I understand. I know what you were trying to hide. Now then, this suitcase was originally in the in-flight shop. Seeing as how the price tag is still on the suitcase, one can only assume it was out on the floor for sale in the shop. And the person who bought the suitcase was... Did she buy her own suitcase?
Take that!
It was you, wasn't it, Miss Tenero? I hate to say this, but this suitcase that you designed, it hasn't sold very well, has it? You see how poorly this design that you poured your heart into was selling, and we're deeply hurt. That's why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it yourself. Isn't that right? Then the reason you went to the shop and came back here was... I'm sorry. All I really have is my job. I was overjoyed when my design was chosen. I thought that maybe I had finally accomplished something. But the suitcase didn't sell. It's because of the design, isn't it? All because it's, as you put it, hideous. I can't say they chose a great place in which to sell them either. We weren't selling a single one, and they were just sitting there collecting dust. I felt so bad seeing them there, day in and day out. So I decided to buy one for every flight I worked. $1,200 each flight! Does she make $1,200 a flight or something? Like,
I mean, that's how they get them to buy other things, like candy.
yeah. I see, so in order to keep your resolution, you went and bought one today as well. Yes, and here's my receipt for that purchase. This receipt is clearly timestamped 5:40 a.m. The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. I'm planning to scrap the remaining ones at the end of this flight. Miss Tenero, where are those other suitcases? They should all be down in the cargo hold. The suitcase the killer used could very well have come from the cargo hold. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't think that the killer used one of my suitcases to... Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body. How could they? The suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on their trips. That's all I ever wished for them to be. Miss Tenero is the only other way to get to the cargo hold other than the elevator. The only other way is just through that door there. What about security? That door has no special lock installed because, just to enter this room, you need a special key card that only crew members have access to. Which means that the culprit is someone who can enter this room, eliminating the passengers and leaving only crew members as potential suspects. I can't believe it. Yes, Francisco? Going on these wild goose chases, you're a disgrace to the Von Karman name. What do you mean by that? The suitcase came from the cargo hold. That fact alone tells the whole story. Yes, which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used their key card. Miles Edgeworth. You're proposing that the killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, correct? Yes, that's the only realistic possibility. That other attendant, Miss Meal, I asked her earlier and she had this to say. Siska got information out of Miss Meal. In order to make the elevator go down to the cargo hold, a different key card is required. Different one? Yes, and the only person who holds that particular card is you, Miss Rhoda Tenero, and only you. What, is this true, Miss Tenero? Yes, I keep the key card in my locker at all times. Would you please show us that card right now? Yes, hold on. I don't believe it. It's gone. What's wrong? The key card. It's gone. Ha ha ha, very clever. Pretending that your card was stolen when in fact you're just trying to hide it from us. You've really thought this through. Wait, it's not like that. You can tell us all about it, what it's like down at the station. Officer, arrest this woman. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Edgeworth? What's wrong? There's disbelief written all over your face. Francisca, I know that you are the lead investigator on this case, however... Hold it, don't even think about wasting any more of my time. You know the rules as well as I do. Evidence speaks louder than words. Even if this isn't a courtroom, that basic tenet still applies. I intend to investigate the cargo hold now. What will you do, Miles Edgeworth? I intend to do likewise. Shouldn't she have done that before she arrested her?
Yeah. I think this is a good start.
Okay. So we'll stop here.
I don't want to get
Here with Toys R Us Kid.
out.
All right, decisive evidence. So next time we play, we'll get that decisive evidence and hopefully solve the kill. I'm pretty sure it's that guy, um, whose scarf is that.
I
And,
call him the Bourguignon, but his last name is LeBlanc, I think.
yeah, it's LeBlanc. So yeah, I think it's that dude. It's just a matter of figuring it out. Unless though, unless it is like the captain or something like that,
Then
like
who's flying the plane?
autopilot. Although Edgeworth says he was there the whole time, and if Edgeworth said that, I have a hard time believing that Edgeworth is lying to cover for the captain, which is not happening. So, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's chamomile.
Chamomile. I suppose, but there's nothing that's linked her to it. The only person who had any link were Tenero and this dude. But this dude's saying that's not really his scarf. I don't know.
He says that all Bourguignons, that it's a highly prized thing. So I wonder if it could be a scarf that actually belongs to the person who's murdered.
Yeah, that could be it. We'll find out next time.
Okay.